Hello everyone, I am going to share with you in this video how you can use the rubrics tool effectively in order to grade your student assignments. Now, once you get the hang of it, the rubrics tool can be a very effective tool for grading, and I look forward to sharing my favorite quick and easy way to get up and running with rubrics here in this short video. So what is helpful to do before you get started is to make sure that you actually have a rubric created, and today we're going to be playing around with a human communication rubric that's existing for a reflection paper. You can see that this rubric is very well organized into different categories: organization, content, style, and format. And then for each category we have different criteria that we'll be looking at. And you can see also we have here a range of point values. We've got 5 different levels ranging from excellent to poor, or poor to excellent. And you can see that in this particular rubric, every category is going to be given the same point value. That's helpful to know too. It is possible to set up a rubric so that you can adjust point values per category or per level, but for this one, I think most of the rubrics that we'll make, you can see that the categories point values are consistent across all levels. Important things to note. So you don't have to have your rubric done in Word. You can have it sketched out on paper. You can have it on a whiteboard. As long as you know where you are going with your rubric, that's the important part. Alright, so from there what we want to do is go into D2L. So I am going to play around with this human communication section, and we go to our rubrics tool here by going to Other and Rubrics. Now we don't currently have any rubrics set up for this class, and that's okay. We click on New Rubric, and we are going to call this rubric Reflection Paper Rubric. Call it whatever you want. We're going to leave the status as draft until we get finished with the rubric. We just don't want students to go in there and see what we're tweaking. We want to make sure it is ready to go whenever we finally launch it to them. Description here, you can leave it blank. I'm going to put a short description. This is the rubric that I will use to grade your reflection papers. Okay, now for different types of rubrics, most of you will want to do analytic rubrics. The holistic rubric allows you to look at it not in categories necessarily, but looking at the big picture. And so for purposes of this demonstration, we're going to stick with analytic because it does allow you to go in and set individual criteria. Now your number of levels, this is where people get kind of confused. Levels refers to your point categories here. So you can see we've got 5 levels. So what we want is to change that to 5. And then for criteria, we're going to set up this particular rubric by category. So you can see we've got, think about your categories like organization, content, style, and format. In this category, we've got 3 criteria for organization, right? We've got introduction, body, and conclusion. So what we're going to do is set up our initial criteria at 3. We can always adjust that and change it later, and I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to add more groups to the rubric as well. And then for scoring methods, you could do text only. You can just leave verbal feedback. You can do points. This is what you should choose if each of your levels has the exact same point value, and you can see that for this rubric we do. By that I mean all of these levels are given the exact same weight. If there were categories here for which excellent was actually worth 15 points and average was worth 10 points, then you would need to do custom points instead. But this one's going to be pretty easy to set up because we're just doing strict point value, and every level is going to be the same, which makes things a little bit easier. Alright, from there, I think we want to leave that unchecked. We definitely want our students to see their scores. We'll save what we've got so far. And then we go into the Levels and Criteria tab here. Now you can see the rubric's really starting to take shape. What we want to do is edit this group. What we have, a difference in terminology, we've got criterion 1, 2, and 3. These are individual criterion. The criteria here in the gray box, this is your criteria group. So we're going to start by editing this criteria group, and we're going to go in and call this group Organization, since that's the very first one that we have on our rubric that we have in our Word format. Now our levels, remember this again is how many point values you're given. We're going to have level 5 is excellent, and we're going to have that as a maximum of 10 points. Alright, then from there we've got good, maximum of 8, average, maximum of 6, fair, maximum of 4, and poor, maximum of 2. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to give everyone 10 points in the excellent category. When you go in to individually grade the assignments, you do have some wiggle room there. I'll show you that in another video. And then for criteria names, this is where we're going to delineate what criteria we're looking at. And you can see here for the organization section, we've got introduction, cohesive body, and conclusion. What I'm going to do is just copy and paste straight into there. And we're going to do a little bit of formatting. And then for number 2, same thing, cohesive body. I'm just going to cut and paste. Oh no, come back. Oh, I just erased it all. No. I don't usually put this much content in my criterion, and I'll explain why. You could just have introduction, body, conclusion. You don't have to have that much description, but we're following the rubric strictly the way that we have it, so that's where I'm going to go for this. So now you can see we've got one complete criteria group. We have all of our levels here. And from there, let's show you how to add a different criteria group. So you go here to add another criteria group. What's our second criteria group going to be? That will be the content tab. Okay, so we're going to call it content. An initial number of criteria, let's go back and look. In this one, we've got 1, 2, 3. So we will have 3 criteria. We definitely still want 5 levels, but I guess that doesn't really matter because I'm going to cheat, and we are going to go to the organization group that we've already set up. And you can see when we do that, it actually automatically imports the names of our levels, so that all we have to do is copy and paste this content over. So I'm going to copy again and paste, copy again and paste from there, and then one more, copy, doing a little keyboard shortcut action there, and paste. Alright, from there we click save, and what that does, look at that, is add a second category here, second criteria group. And since all of our point values are the same across the board, it also automatically imported all of the points values as well as the names of all the levels. So what I'm going to do next is just finish building this rubric one more time to show you. My last criteria group name is going to be style and format. Again, in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 criteria. We're going to copy that from our organization setup as well. We've already got our levels inputted there. And then we have, I'm just going to copy and paste over appropriateness of writing style. Second one is going to be mechanics. Erase that. And I know I left out the description here on that criterion. I'll show you why in a moment. Criterion 3 is going to be punctuation, and then criteria 4 is going to be appropriate length and format. Now, the reason I didn't add the descriptors is I want to show you an alternative way that you can encourage your students to follow the directions. So here, was writing style appropriate? What would we do? Let's say we want to tell students what we're actually looking for in this area. We went into edit the level, and this is for excellent. Was writing style appropriate? What I'm going to do is copy and paste these 3 criteria that I'm actually looking for. So you can see here, when they see excellent, they'll know they've achieved the excellent category if they've used active voice, little or no jargon, and simple declarative statements. Under description here, I could say repeat it, proper spelling and grammar. And then under punctuation, what do we have here? Proper punctuation, and then under appropriate length and format, we've got 1 page formatted correctly, and save. And what that does instead, when the students go to see how you evaluated them, they'll see here that this is what it takes to achieve excellent. So you could do that for every level. You could say tell them what would actually get a good ranking as opposed to an excellent ranking. Tell them what would be poor as opposed to excellent. So you can add in each of these boxes some text to let them know what you're looking for. So that's the basics of setting up a rubric. Once you've done that, gone through the process, then your rubric is almost ready to go. In the next video, I will show you how to attach it to an assignment, and then later we'll talk about how to use the rubric to grade your papers. Thanks for watching.